Welcome back. This is Live in the Garage podcast, episode 3.
Episode 3.
And I have the one and only Sofia's Verga
Sofia's Verga, baby.
in the house. DJ Audio1 is in the house, y'all. Round of applause.
Yay. Golf clap.
My man. You know what's crazy, man?
What's up?
And I'm not trying to make your head bigger than it already is.
Yeah. Woo.
You're,
Pause.
Pause, all homo. But like your mix right now, and again, we always go live with the mix first, and then we get into the interview. But your mix right now had like the most kind of hits and the most interaction with the fans, people watching. So shout out to that, man.
Thank you.
It was a lot better than DJ Rob Stevens.
Wow. Ooh.
He was talking smack on the IG live. No, but for real talk, man, like
Shout
thank
out
you.
Rob Stevens.
Shout out to Rob Stevens, man. We love
Rock boy.
you. Yo, but your mix was off the hook, man. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for letting me get on the platform and just do my thing, you know.
Thank you for one thing I want to say is that first I'm just trying to wrap my head around how I'm gonna categorize this mix, because I usually put like little tags of what kind of music was playing, but like
electronic.
You let me know. Let me know.
Electronic, trap, cumbia. I don't know. There's a lot. There was a lot of stuff going on with that one.
Trap chata.
Trap chata. Yeah.
Is that a new genre?
I don't know, man. Like my buddies, shout out to Do Delincuentes. They made that. So
Dos Delincuentes.
Dos Delincuentes, Spider Tech, all those guys. Like, they're on some next stuff. So
Spider Tech, what up, man?
Yeah, most stuff.
Man, I play that Spider Tech all the way up cumbia.
Oh yeah, no, that one always works. That's like I do third weekends at Great and Casino, and that's like the joint. Like if I'm gonna switch up from like a hip hop set to the cumbia and like Latin, that's the one right there. You know,
man,
it always works.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, DJ Audio1 is here with me, man. We are going all the way right now, Hayward,
California. Yep.
Hayward.
It's crazy how close I live to you. I only live a mile away from you, man.
My G. See, this is kind of like it's funny and at the same time weird, because I don't know your full story, but you're my homie.
Right.
You're my real homie.
Yes.
Are you from Hayward? Like, where were you born and raised?
I was born in San Francisco.
Okay.
November 1979. I grew up there for a few years. Moved over to East Oakland, Foothill and Seminary. Grew up there till like about
tough.
87, 88. So I got to see everything. I got to see the crack epidemic. I got to see Too Short and all the rap movement. I got to see all the Central Americans come in here, you know, in their political asylum.
Central America stand up.
You know, so I got to see everything happen. And then it got kind of crazy. And then Mom was like, yo, let's move to Hayward. And what's crazy is Hayward was good at the time. And then in the 90s, it went crarazy. But, you know, like I said, like this area, you could have come out here if you didn't have a cosign back in the day.
I represent Gadding Block all day. Gadding Block all day.
Yeah, Gadding, Schaefer, Manor. Like you couldn't go if you didn't have a cosign. Like it was interesting. It was funny for me because I was doing graffiti at the time, so I didn't care. I was just like, I'm just run up on your shit and then run out. Like
Hayward, man. Hayward
yeah.
Stand up. South Hayward Bart.
Yeah, man. So,
man.
Yeah, I grew up on
Gadding Harder.
Yeah, I grew up right off of Winton, Jackson. Yeah, so
dope, man.
Yeah.
Talk to me, man. Talk to me about your path. Go ahead and talk to me about your path. How did DJ Audio1 become DJ Audio1 from the beginning, man? Go ahead and talk about it. And also sprinkle in there who inspired you.
Oh, man. It's a long list of people that inspired me. But really what inspired me was I was going to the school dances back in the day.
Okay.
And, you know, like 6th, 7th grade. And I don't know. I was always into music thanks to my mom. You know what I mean? Like she put me on.
Moms,
yeah, she put me up. She the way that she played all the Latin stuff. So you know, like merengue, salsa, cumbias, everything. But she was also into rock. So she was into like the Eagles and all that kind of stuff.
Mom's was into rock, though.
Yeah, and then you know, and funk and soul. So I was really exposed to a lot of different types of music at the time. And then in the mid to late 80s, I got introduced to hip hop, LL Cool J, you know, Beastie Boys, Too Short, NWA, like, and that just blew my mind, you know. And then I started going to these school dances, and I was just watching the DJs, like, yo, like, all these people were dancing because that guy is like grabbing records and putting them down, and I was really interested. And then I got ballsy one time. And I'm like, yo, can I hang out here with you? Yeah, sure. You know, and I'm just watching like for 3 hours. And I'm like, yo, I kind of want to do this. You know what I mean? So, and then I really lucked out in 91. over at Winton Junior High, we had a
Winton. Shout out to Winton.
Yeah,
man.
that's where I went. Yeah,
Hey, we're all day.
Yeah, so in '91, we had an after school program, and we all got mentors. So we had these mentors from Chabot College, and they were, each of us was assigned a mentor. His name was Orlando Cepeda. He's a cool dude from San Ramon, and he was a DJ. And he was just telling me, yo, man, I go to DV8, I go to City Nights, I go to Studio West, I go to all these spots. And I'm just like he was young, but somehow he was like, yo, I've been going in for years.
He was out there.
Yeah, he was out there. And then he just put me on game. And then at the same time, I met a guy by the name of Randy Taylor Weber, who you know that might be at Randy Galaxy. He's still around.
Hold on. You met Randy at a young age?
I met Randy when I was 10 years old.
Yo, shout out to Randy.
Yep.
If you ever been to Sabor, if you ever been to Taste, if you ever been to, when I was a resident DJ, I was at Pearl, aka Studio 8, aka SJ Live.
Wow, it's been everything, right?
It's been everything. Pinche putas.
Yeah.
Randy Taylor Weber, legendary producer,
Randy Galaxy.
writer.
Yep.
Go ahead, man. Mr. Galaxy. Go ahead, man. I just want to say that because I appreciate people that are in the industry, and I definitely want to give respect when respect is due.
Oh, yeah, no, most definitely. He's still around, too.
Gotta love that guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if he's not too big time, I can get him on the show.
Oh, I'll text him right now. Make sure
Thank you. Go ahead. Continue with your story.
So I met him through my mom. Basically, my mom ran a clothing store at the flea market in Oakland, at the Coliseum Flea Market. And he ran a little music spot. So he would sell mixtapes, mix CDs, like, you would get like bootlegs or whatever. Up. So
he's on his
and he was DJing at the time, so he handed me, yo, check out my mixtape, and like I listened to it, and it was like a 4-track thing, like he was really going in on 4-track, and that just blew my mind. And then from that point forward, I was just like, yo, I'm buying records. So I started buying records, and I started saving for like a year or two, and then I finally got some techniques. One of my friends, I can't remember his name, but he put me in contact with this guy named John Lau, and the guy's like, yeah, I got 2 techniques for $600. I'm like, all right, cool. So imagine, yeah.
That's how much I got one for.
Yeah. So this is like 93, 94. So
damn.
So for like the first couple of years, I was just doing everything off the Fisher. I had the Fisher sound system. I had the Gemini belt drive. The Gemini Scratch Master. But I met this guy John Lau, and imagine I'm like 13 or 14 at the time with $600 in my pocket, and I go to Southland Mall, and he's like, "You got the money?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I hand him the money. He's like, "All right, I'll be back." So I just handed this random dude $600. I'm like,
no Craigslist.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there at the cyber station, playing Mortal Kombat, all like stressed out. Like, is this dude gonna come back? And he said he'd be back in an hour.
Which no longer exists.
Yeah. Cyber station was a video games. We're youngins. We used to have video games we used to play.
Right next to the food court.
Right.
Southland Mall, there used to be a cyber station, a.k.a. arcade station.
Yeah.
That shit used to be lit.
Oh, it was really lit.
Everybody was in there. It was lit.
So, I was getting really stressed out. And then finally he showed up. And, we went to he had his trunk. And he had a Mustang at the time.
Damn, straight out the trunk?
Yeah, and he had 2 decks. So basically, he had him from I guess his cousin got into DJing. Only used them for a few months and then put them away. And, like, he was like... So he made it seem that he was buying them for himself, but he slanged them to me. So come to find out, this guy, John Lau, he happened to be, his name is DJ MK2. And he's part of Aim to Please. So him, Matt Villacarti, like, that's a lineage right there. And these guys used to be part of, what was Rich Laxamana's crew? He had a crew back in the day. I can't think what the hell the name is right now. But they were big, these are all mobile guys from back in the 80s and 90s. So
mobile DJs were the thing.
Right. So inadvertently I got myself a mentor, you know what I mean, at the time. So I would just go to his house and he put me up on game on everything, all the music that was out, house, breaks, hip hop, everything. At the same time, I'm listening to radio. I'm listening to KMEL. This is still when Hot 97 was still around, like, Jazzy Jim, Greg Lopez, Jose Melendez, like,
Twin Spin came from there.
I mean, there was so many
Majestic
names.
Chris,
Majestic Chris, David Garcia, like all these guys. Like, I was just a radio, I was just a kid at home. I couldn't go to the clubs. I couldn't, so I was basically living vicariously through the radio guys, so, and I was just trying my best to just find all the records that they were playing. You know what I mean? I would go to Upstairs Records in San Jose. I would go to Zebra in the city. I would go to Q's Records on Daly City, just try to.
Zebra was underrated, right? Like it's
very, very underrated, but they had really dope hip hop. They had a lot of dope hip hop, and they had a lot of dancehall. They had a shop. I think they had a shop next to it where you can cut dub plates. Like I heard
that's underrated, man, for sure. Because I remember that shit. And then you have the bigger stuff. You have the bigger Raspuns. You have the Amoebas.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, so I mean, pretty much all through high school, I was just learning, grinding. I was listening to the Wake Up Show on the weekends. Swinging King Tech. You know what I'm saying?
Are you a fan of the Wake Up Show? Like, are you like really?
Oh yeah, hardcore. Like, yeah, well, it's funny you posted that video. Like, I was like, yo, like I used to do that, man. I used to sit there Friday nights. You know what I mean? Just hit record. I would fall asleep. I'd hear the tape snap, so I'd wake up really quick, flip it over, hit record again.
That's so dope. So. Right behind me in this tape deck, I have a actual tape that says a Wake Up Show. And I would do the same thing you're just talking about, man. And I posted it recently for a Throwback Thursday. I would record the freestyles. What I hate about it is that I didn't record any like the interviews, because nowadays I think interviews are so dope. Right. But I only recorded the freestyles.
Yeah. I was recording mainly mixes. I didn't.
Yeah, mixes and freestyles. When somebody started rapping, that's where Cannabis came from. My love for Cannabis, my love for Exhibit, Planet Asia, Cali Agents. Yeah. The list goes on and on and on forever, man. That's so dope, man.
Right. Yeah, man. So, I loved hip hop. I loved music, and then, I'll go back a little bit back. I started going down to LA with family, like back in 92, 93, and I was introduced to house music. I was introduced to the rave culture. So, and I was really young. I'm like 12, 13. And they'd be like, "Hey, put on this shirt, put on these Mickey Mouse gloves. You'll fit in." And it's just this whole different world.
It's part of the look. I mean?
Yeah, it's this whole different world. I tried ecstasy for the first time in my life, and it's that like was totally different. You know what I mean? Being on your first trip in your life, you're just like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But it really opened up. Like so. For it being pre-internet and everything, like we enjoy everything now. I knew about a lot of music, you know what I mean? Like I was like listening to Bad Boy Bill, Richard Humpty Vision, like all those house guys and stuff, and Hard House was really big out here too. So I just loved all the music, and then the one music that really stuck out to me the most was drum and bass. So that's what a lot of people know me for. So for years I did drum and bass at raves for a long time. Like I said, I was still at home practicing every day, going to raves, trying to get into clubs, and I wasn't really that great of a dancer. I mean, I did break dance, but I wasn't like good at like two-stepping or anything with girls. But strut. Yeah, but I was really like anywhere I went, I was really just focused on the DJs. I would go to DJ battles like ITF and DMC and all the local battles and just watch, just soak up the game. Like, oh, you know what, I could do that. I could try to do that, and just practicing like crazy. And I did that for a long, long time. Like. And then I started doing like the little like house parties, and we were doing the parties up here for the sororities up at Cal State Hayward with MK2 and those guys. So it was cool. That was fun because that was the first time they put me on the spot with people like, "Hey man, we're gonna let you do your thing. We're gonna holler at some girls, and I'm here with 3 turntables and a big Newmark." And I'm like, "Oh shit, what the fuck do I do now?" Like, they put you on the spot, and it was crazy. This is where like they taught me to be on point, be on the spot, like be ready for anything. Because back then, like you would set your records, you would set your pitches, and you turn around and grab records. But these motherfuckers would go and like move the fucking pitches. So when you would like start the mix, you're like, oh shit, like
I would do that to my homies. Yeah. Like we'd just be messing around at a house party, right? Like DJ Epic, DJ Epic, and then other people too. Like they're mixing, but the moment they turn their back, I would fuck with the pitch.
Yeah. So see how you have like the records like that, like,
and they would still be like, yo, they, like nothing happened, and they would mix it in the next song, and just the expression on their face would be like, yo, this song is way off. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, no man. Yeah, so I mean that's what I came up on. You know what I mean? And I did that for a long time. Did raves like from like 98 to like 03, 04. I was mainly doing raves. I was playing drum and bass. I was playing hip hop.
Respect, man.
I was just playing, just scratching and stuff. And then one of my buddies, another influencer. His name is Greg J. He's from Crooklyn Clan.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, man, I know you're into the open format. I know you're into the, because at the time Z Trip was like blowing up.
Where's Greg J from?
Greg J's here from the Bay Area.
Bay Area, okay.
Yeah.
Just
So
make sure.
he was like
I don't know his whole
he
story.
was a big rave legend out here. He did like a lot of break beats. Him, Kevin Kine, DJ Ajax. Those are like my guys that really got me
Shout
into the
out
club.
to Ajax.
Ajax, yeah.
I love you, man.
Ultrasounds, so
Thank you for fixing my turntables.
he
These
fixes
turntables
everybody's turntables, right?
have been fixed by him.
Yeah. So he hit me up and he's like, "Yo, man, they got these guys in Vegas and LA." He was basically telling me like, "Yo, this guy DJ Vice, this guy DJ AM, they're basically getting a lot of money playing everything." And then they're playing Beyonce, they're playing Queen, they're playing everything back to back, like no filter. I'm like, you got to get into this club shit
within 30 minutes.
Everything. Yeah. So that really opened my eyes up. You know what I mean? And little by little, I started basically phasing out the raves, and I started doing more. And the thing really, which is funny because we always say we don't do it for the money, but when I was doing raves, I wasn't making much money. I was making $50, the gas fade, whatever, drinks, whatever. And then like my first gig, I got $300. So I was just like, like, yo, like really, like, yeah, come back next week. We'll give you another 300. It's like, really, just to play rap and to play all this shit? Yeah, like, why not? You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So, so. Not to say that money should be your motivation. It shouldn't be, but
never.
But at the time when you've been doing it for so long, like I've been doing it almost a decade for next to nothing, and then I'm getting paid for it. I'm like, okay, this is something I gotta really invest my time into.
I learned that from DJ Craze, and he just kind of going back into interviews and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like DJ Craze said that like once the money gets into it, things get a little weird and gets a little fucked up. But as you grow as a creative, you got to understand you can choose that route or you can not choose that route, but always focus on creating dopeness, being the best at your craft. There's different things that you should be focusing on than solely just that paycheck. That paycheck should be just a cherry on top of the cake, like an appreciation. Like, yo, thank you for paying me for what I do and for what I love, but it's not my main purpose.
Yeah, no, definitely,
because things can get very weird and kind of fucked up too.
Yeah, no, and we've been through all that out here in the Bay Area. We've seen the club change a lot, so. But yeah, no, man. I mean, that was basically, I want to say around 04, 05 was my entry into the club scene out here. And little by little, like I was working with Kevin Kine, Greg J, DJ Ajax, and then around 06, 07 is when I started meeting people like on the Serato forums. That's where I met like everybody, like pretty much everybody. That's like the beginning of, if you're aware of my DJ email blast, which a lot of DJs are aware about, that was like the beginning of it. It was just like all of a sudden, like over the years, I started growing a list of people from everywhere. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to link these people with different music. And that's helped me out tremendously.
Shout out to the internet, the power of the internet.
Definitely. MySpace.
Thank you, MySpace. Mi espacio.
Yeah, no, man. But I want to say like my biggest break, I believe, is in 08. Jazzy Jim was looking for DJs at 194.9.
Shout out to Jazzy Jim.
Jazzy Jim, I want to say, like, a lot of shit wouldn't have happened without Jazzy Jim.
We might hear that name a lot on my podcast. Just let you know, on my podcast, you might hear that name a lot.
Right. So, yeah, he was looking for DJs. He was like, "Oh, I know there's a lot of talented DJs out there. We need you guys to, represent." And a lot of DJs were up for it, but then all of a sudden he's like, well, the thing is, you guys got to come and do it live. This isn't no sending a mix thing. You got to come and do it live. Yeah. I was the first one to jump on that shit. So, yeah, they invited me. Wait,
hold on. Talk your shit. You were the first to do what?
The first to jump on that opportunity. Like,
okay.
I think somebody else might have done it before me, like on the thing, but it was like a Thursday program with Joe Breezy. Like the Thursday night, I can't think what the hell it was.
Shout out to Joe Breezy. He was doing random. It was like a mix show. All right, like it was.
It was like at 11. It's like 11 o'clock. It was just like they would invite a club DJ to do their thing. Like it was like, it was dope. So I did the first mix, and I did fairly all right. I had one of my mixes slip really bad, but that's what happens when they tell you, oh, there's like 100,000 people listening, so no pressure.
You get a little nervous.
Yeah, and that booth in 94.9 was a little, at the time was a little scary.
Little fish tank.
Yeah, but
I've been in there.
Yeah, a lot, but yeah, I did that, and it was cool. And then I got invited back a second time. And then after that, they were like, yo, we're gonna do this Memorial Day mix. You want to come in and help us out with it? I'm like, yeah, sure. Literally 4 days I was there, like every day. You know what I mean? And just became part of the family. So him and I got to work with E-Rock early on. Like E-Rock, also another guy. He put me into the club, and like I was joking with him recently. I think we broke Day and Night by Kid Cudi on his mix show. So. And then I played Bebot on his Club 949 set, so a lot of people forgot about Bebot. It's a big Filipino
Black
record.
Eyed Peas Bebot song. You don't understand how many times I've played that in the club.
It always works.
I come from a lot of Filipino friends. Shout out to all my Pinoy Pinay friends. Like all day, like I got nothing but love for my Filipino friends, and when I play that shit goes off.
Yeah, no man, it's crazy. Yeah,
Black Eyed Peas Bebot.
Yeah. So yeah, I did a couple of months at 94.9 myself, and Panic City at the time was doing it with us too.
Okay.
So
shout out to Panic City.
Yeah, keeping it local, right? So
yeah.
And then they had whatever falling out happened at the station. Jazzy was out, Joe Breezy was out, but then Jazzy went over to 997 at the time, moving, and then we all, hey, just give it some time. We'll get you guys in the rotation. And then literally like a year later, we were in the rotation like all the time. So it was cool. Like Jazzy always kept us employed. And then like thankfully because of those mixes on the air, that just opened up more opportunities, more clubs, more, more people were like, oh, I heard you that one time. Cool. And then my name just started getting a buzz locally. So
dope, man.
And that it's like I've been pretty much working off that buzz, almost 10 years. Like, I just stay on it, and I was doing the radio. I was doing like Fridays or Saturdays, whenever Jazzy needed me. And then what changed things was around 2010, dubstep was really like a big thing, like Skrillex and all that stuff. And St. John came into the picture, and St. John was like, Jazzy, do you know anybody who knows dubstep or knows this stuff? Like, this stuff's real big. We can use somebody's help on House Nation. And he's like, yeah, my guy Audio1, he knows about that.
Oh, we got the cosign?
Yeah, so
dope,
St. John
man.
was like, yo, make me a 20-minute mix, we'll air it. And I did a 20-minute mix, and I guess the phone lines blew the fuck up. They're like, oh shit, what is this? It was like all Skrillex type shit, you know what I mean? Evil
because
Intent,
you can consider that was a time of the EDM bubble where EDM was kind of like, well, EDM
it was like
the word.
It was starting
being used.
It was starting to like, it was like when Dutch house and like electro house and all of that stuff started.
All the subgenres, right? Like
everything started coming like the beginning, like Moombaton, like all that era right there, like. And I just happened to be on top of it.
Like when you were talking about like your history, like the 90s, the 2000s, everything was just kind of house, right? Let's just say it was all house,
right.
or quote unquote techno. I hate using that word,
right?
But techno. But then like in the 2010s, 2011, 2012, and then so forth, that's where things kind of got chopped into different subgenres.
So you had like deep house, you had funky house, you had electro house, you had Baltimore club,
like,
you know what I mean? Like, Moombaton, and like, and then dubstep, like there was like the early dubstep, and then the what they called like the Americanized dubstep, and that's the stuff that really was really popular at the time. So I helped out, and I ended up joining House Nation. I was on House Nation for a few years. Man. So I did shows with them, St. John's. So definitely St. John's another person that I owe a lot to. I did that show till 2014, and then I got an opportunity to work at Q102 for about I worked there for about 5-6 months. So I did an electronic show for 3 months, and then they switched their format to throwback. So I was just like, nah, I'm gonna get out of it just because like if you guys need mixes, cool. And it was mainly through Ajax. Ajax was like, hey man, just send me some stuff, I'll air it.
Yeah.
But I was really I'm focused on like all the trap and all the electronic stuff, even though I mix top 40. And I just been grinding, man. Nonstop, man.
What do you credit yourself, or what do you credit to giving you the big break? Are you like through this whole story that you're telling me right now? Did radio help you out, or did your street name, your club stuff help you out? Like what?
It was a mixture of the radio. I think the radio really, it really helped get my name out because people were not aware of who I was before, and. Just from the radio, I got to meet everybody. You know what I mean? I got to meet all the club DJs. A lot of people had heard my name before, but they didn't know who I was. And then all of a sudden, I'm like making appearances everywhere. You know what I mean? This is like so many old spots where Impala, Apartment 24. Like all these Broadway spots from back in the day. I met a lot of people. Like I said, like I owe a lot to E-Rock. E-Rock, like I met him at Fluid.
Shout out to
Fluid. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, you know, like these, you know, everyone I met, like I became cool with, and then everybody was just co-signing me everywhere. You know what I mean? So
I used to do a lot of work for or help out with E-Rock, but I guess he forgot about me.
he didn't forget. No. He didn't forget. Man, so.
Shout out to E-Rock, man.
Yeah, no.